and what can I say? It's another ANA moment, because we're now going to be talking to Senior Tax Consultant at Tax Consulting South Africa. He is Sidney Fletcher, and officially the tax season has started. 1st July up until the 23rd of November. Sidney's here to tell us how to go about navigating filing our taxes, possibly give us a few tips in ensuring that hopefully we will get a tax rebate. Sidney, good morning. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Julie. Thank you for having me.
COVID-19, we're in the middle of the pandemic. I think it's going to be challenging as far as tax returns are concerned. In terms of branches not being open, what is it that we need to know about this financial tax year?
Yeah, being in the environment that we are in now, SARS has temporarily closed their branches. So they are encouraging e-filing and using the tax mobile app for submissions in the first couple of weeks of the tax season. Now, they have also capacitated themselves to enhance their auto assessment process. Now, I think that the way they have structured the auto assessment this time around, it is a lot easier for taxpayers who get these auto assessments to accept those, and thus not having to go to a branch to do submissions.
What I am worried about is SARS is telling us in a communication that don't be surprised when you find an auto assessment preloaded on your profile ready for you to accept. Is that wise? Obviously, you've got sufficient data to have preloaded this, but if I'm not happy with it and I don't want to accept it, what recourse do I have, given that that the branches are closed? Who's going to help me?
Yeah, what you can do is, and we always advise people to interact with reputable tax practitioners in the industry. But SARS offers you 3 options when you get the auto assessment. The first one is to obviously accept it. And we have the situation, if the auto assessment shows that you get a refund, then people just accept. If it's a refund, they accept. But
Why
they
not?
also allow but they also allow you opportunity to view exactly how they calculated that refund, and also to amend if you don't agree with what the auto assessments results in. When you disagree and you would like to edit, it will pop up the information that they have already pre-populated. So they've enhanced their third-party data. So the information that they get from third parties, your banks, your investment companies, and all those is highly sophisticated nowadays. So in those cases where they feel they have got sufficient third-party data, in those cases, they'll be confident in their auto assessments.
If I don't accept, I'd like you to review my assessment. What are the chances that it would be reviewed favorably? And then how long does it take before I hear from you again?
Yeah, what we've seen in the industry nowadays, if your return is not routed for verification or audit, the refunds is relatively quickly. So even in some cases where you edit your return, where you edit these auto assessments, and it's not routed for verification, then you're still within that timeline. They say it's between 7 to 21 days, but in the industry we see it's 3 to 4 working days before refunds are paid out.
What if I just don't accept and don't respond? Would the long arm of the law come after me? That's question number 1. And question number 2, in terms of the tax year, what would work in my favor if I submit as early as possible? Are all the tax assessors in a better frame of mind, or do you leave it till the last minute? What is the favorable thing to do in my situation?
Okay, with regards to the you not submitting or you not replying, there is going to be a point where SARS is just going to add those auto assessments to your assessment. So then it doesn't matter if you reply or not, they will issue you with an assessment. If we're talking about people that are not compliant, I interestingly read an article by the commissioner yesterday where he said that SARS will only ask nice once. They will only ask you nicely once, and from there on, they've got the enforcement processes to actually get you to comply. The second part of your question, if you are going to get a refund, there's no benefit whether you do it now or when you do it later on. There's actually no difference. You're still going to get the same amount. I haven't encountered SARS assessors or auditor being moody on Mondays and not on Fridays. So it shouldn't matter whether you do it now or whether you do it later on in the year.
If you don't comply, I'm just wondering if people ignore the automatic assessment that has been sent to them and say, you owe me X amount or whatever the case may be. As you've indicated, your systems are very sophisticated. Obviously, you will then just get in touch with my financial institution or wherever, and by so doing, you will then be able to get your hands on my money or what you deem is owing to SARS. You do have that. You do have that right of recourse to get the money back from me. Is that the way you operate? Is that the way you operate?
Not us, but SARS. They actually
Absolutely,
do that.
yes.
What they do is they get the pre-populated data beforehand. All these third-party institutions has a deadline to supply the data to SARS. What SARS will then do is they compile the assessment and send it back to you in the form of an auto assessment. Now, if these auto assessments indicate that you must pay an amount of money and you choose to ignore it, then, like I said, later on in the year, closer to the deadline, this will automatically be added to your assessment profile, and SARS will issue with an assessment stating you owe us 10,000 Rand, for example. If you then still remain non-compliant, they have got their debt management and collection procedures in place to collect the money. Firstly, offer you the opportunity, then employ your employer as an agent to deduct on their behalf, and
a garnishee order.
And then
like a garnishee order.
Yeah, like a garnishee order. And then move over to the banks and employ the banks as agents on their behalf.
Okay, what else do we need to know, the do's and the don'ts, if we are filing our own returns? Let's assume we don't receive an automatically pre-assessment from SARS. What are the do's or don'ts that we should be aware of?
The first thing that I must mention is to not non-comply. If you don't agree with the assessment, talk to SARS. If you don't agree with them, talk to a registered tax practitioner and try and get the professional help to assist with finalizing your assessment and getting the best benefit out of your tax situation.
Thank you indeed. A very uncomfortable time of year for most of us, but it has to be done. Thank you for your expertise on the show this morning. Go well and good day.
Thank you, Julie.
8:48. It is News and Views with me, Julie Ali, right here on Salam Media.